What's going on, everybody? Guess what? It is Tuesday, I believe. Yesterday was September 11th. We'd had the Christmas light training and networking event in Porter, Texas. It was a success. There was many people there from different places, and I couldn't believe, you know, how many people were from not just pressure washing, but how many landscape lighting people there were. There were Christmas people there, but there was so many new people. But before I dive into all the details, you can see on the screen right there, Kingdom Radio, we have live in studio for the very first time, Michael Zuzack. What's up, Mike?
How you doing? How you doing?
It's been an eventful day here at the ranch.
Yes. Texas style for sure.
Southern hospitality.
Hospitality.
We got the actual big slab of filet mignon, and Laura put that on the grill. And tell us about the steak and lobster and how Laura put that feast together. Just like it seems like 30 minutes, it was all done.
Yes, and I'll say that I haven't had it any place any better. And when I came here, I asked you I needed a Texas surprise, and you definitely delivered on that. My son eats a bunch of steak, and he was absolutely blown away. So I mean, it was wonderful. And if I become rich, I'd love to hire a wife to make me.
I know, personal chef. Yeah.
Personal chef.
No, I've already got her on payroll, but yeah. But yeah, she did a fantastic job. And you know what, your son, he does eat a lot. I mean, when we say you eat a lot, you say, oh, maybe you're just exaggerating. I'm not exaggerating at all. It was like 3 plates of steak, and then he comes back with another one. I'm talking about not like a plate of food. I'm talking about Thanksgiving dinner, heaping, helping, like on his 4th one, and he's just a little small kid. It's like, where the hell is this kid putting all this stuff,
I think it evaporates from his skin or something.
But yeah, let's dive into this Christmas light training. I mean, the thing I thought was interesting is when, you're saying by a show of hands, who has never installed a Christmas light before, and it was over half the room was on their first season, and they were just looking to start a business, and over half the room, not just pressure washing, but half the room was landscape lighting, right?
Yeah.
Or they were landscaping. Did you get any benefit, like just from showing up here to Texas, besides coming here and hanging out with us?
Yes, I mean, I learned a lot as far as the Christmas lighting industry goes. I got a lot of information from your speakers and you and stuff like that, and I've been waiting to pull the trigger on that. But after those samples, just giving me those samples of the green connectors and stuff and the plugs, and just seeing how they went together, and I was just like, oh, okay, I can do this, So
Yeah.
yeah, it took a lot.
You started thinking, like, it can't be this easy, right?
Honestly, that's what I was thinking. When I put the plug together, I was like, just gotta cut this cord and put this plug in like that, and I don't even have to hide it like landscape lighting.
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
It's like, and they're charging $10 a foot, and all you do is just put this little connection on and plug it to an extension cord. You're like, it doesn't seem that difficult.
Yeah,
No wonder so many people are doing it.
exactly.
Yeah, and it really doesn't take a lot for you to think that you're a self-proclaimed expert, because it's so easy to do. It's just the details that I think a lot of people, as you get on, it's the details, and it's scaling your business past 2 guys in a truck.
Right.
But a lot of people are very knowledgeable. I thought Jason Guyman, for a speaker, I'm not like a public speaker, so it's my first time, like speaking like that.
Mm-hmm.
But Jason Guyman, you can tell that dude speaks all the time.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, he did good. So what was your favorite takeaway you think of this weekend?
At the event or at your house?
Oh, just over the weekend. You think your favorite thing of your trip to Texas?
Man, honestly, my favorite trip is, and like I said, I've talked back and forth with you for a while. I was glad to finally meet you.
Yeah.
The hospitality was over. I don't even know how to appreciate how it was. I've never been treated like that by a stranger anywhere I've went, and it was really awesome. And the class was very informative. And like I said, those connectors. When I told you that story about the cord drill, and I did my first one, and I asked him how much he charged, kind of clicked in my head like, oh, I can do that. So when I did that with the connector thing, it clicked in my head like, oh, I can do that. So between getting the information from your speakers and mostly, man, just enjoying this part of Texas and this feel and this vibe, and it was just phenomenal, man. I mean,
Heck yeah. Yeah, I agree. I met a lot of people. I mean, one of the people that Michael Simmons, the bigger guy, and he actually was there for the Monday night margarita mixer. I mean, people message you on Facebook, and you're like, oh, okay, you know, whatever. But then you meet him in person, you're like, man, this dude's like super cool.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, his profile pictures seem like he was a nice person, you know.
Yeah.
You know, but you don't really get to know him that well. Like you put yourself out there where you can watch videos and stuff. But a lot of people don't do that. Most people don't do that. But when you actually meet people in person, you're like, man, this guy's like a really solid guy. Who do you think was your favorite meet? I mean, obviously, with the exception of me. I mean, like just the people who were there to like learn, and they were there in the audience. Who do you think was your favorite meet there of the weekend?
Honestly, besides the speakers, I was kind of blown away by the age of some of the younger kids that were coming and starting businesses at 17 and 19. And I was just kind of blown away by that, by their ambition and motivation, because I'm thinking of myself at that age and was never thinking about the stuff that it is. So, and I think a big part of that has to do with informative stuff like this and social media, where they get information when they're sitting at home as opposed to having to go actually look for it. So I was just kind of blown away by some of these kids that showed
The
up.
kid that was in high school.
Yeah.
And his mom was calling saying it was almost past his bedtime, but he had skipped school that day to come to it.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And it was like, this kid is 17 years old, skipping school because he wanted to invest into himself, into this, and his parents like, hey, come on, are you going to have dinner? And we're having this for dinner and that for dinner. And he was just like, I just want to better myself, and I already have a pressure washing business, and I already make all this money, but now I want to add Christmas lights. And he's still in high school.
Yeah.
I mean, it was unbelievable. He had employees working for him in high school.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like, me and you, one, I wish I would have started when I was 17. I'd be retired by now.
Yeah.
But maybe I did start, and I just kept falling on my face, and it didn't click until recently, unfortunately. But when I watch someone who's 17 where it seems like it's clicking, there's a little bit of jealousy.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, we both have children, and our sons, by the time they're 17 hanging out with us, they should be the same way. They should have already employees before they're even out of high school, and they should be entrepreneurs if they're paying attention to what we're doing. Wouldn't you agree?
Right. And, thing too is, like you said, he already has 2 businesses. I was like, okay. But, who was going to go to college? He decided to do this and, take a leap of faith and stuff. And I was blown away by that.
It was crazy. Yeah, and then we have Guyman, and the other guy was David Morrell Sr. We actually got a chance to hang out with him. Now, when I seen his Facebook profile, he's cool, but he had like this big, like almost like a Santa Claus beard. It wasn't gray yet, but he had like a big Santa Claus beard. He was actually really fun to meet.
Yeah. I've been back and forth on Facebook.
You have?
It's kind of weird because you notice the name, but you don't really look too hard at the picture because it's so small. So when he told me the name, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, we've conversated and stuff like that. So there was a lot of people that I met another guy, Benton.
Shane Benton.
Shane Benton.
Yeah.
And he's been following me for a while. We were talking, and he came up to me. He's like, "Hey, I'm Shane." I was like, "Oh crap! I never. Your face is so small. I never zoom in, and so it was really cool to see a lot of faces.
Well, not only that, it's like you're sitting at your house, you're making some videos of your kids dancing and some work that you're doing, and then you go home but you're living your life. You're not like some celebrity or nothing, but you fly halfway across the country in a place where you've never been before, you don't know anybody, and as soon as you step into a room, everyone's like, hey, I know you, like, whoa. It's kind of like surreal to be in that moment where you're like, damn, I'm like all over the country and everyone knows who I am. It's like it seems unreal a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just I don't know how to take it. It's cool, but I don't know how to take it. It's like, that's awesome.
It's kind of affirmation that you're doing the right thing, though.
Yeah.
It's like whatever I'm doing, it must be working. Like everyone knows who I am.
Yeah. I guess it's better when they approach you and they're not cussing you out. So so they're coming at you really nice and politely. Then you're doing the right thing.
Sweet Texas.
Thank you.
Wow. I don't get a glass of wine, Laura? Oh, Chef Laura hooked it up tonight.
She did that.
So yeah, that was that, and then you stayed at the Courtyard by Marriott. Well, how was the hotel accommodations?
It was nice, and I was it was real. I didn't realize how close it was to like 7, 8, 10 Mexican restaurants in a row.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, they're all in walking distance.
oh, like which one do you want to go to? But it was close to everything, so it was really nice. I really liked it there.
Yeah, and the Heath Phelps, the Texas pressure washing, that place was that place was pretty interesting. I mean, he has like three big places, and then he had all these locations. But just right there in Porter, Texas, I wish there was air conditioning. I wish there was air conditioning in there, and he said he's going to get one with it. But those three buildings, it was just impressive to see a pressure washing store. Like, this isn't his pressure washing company where they pressure wash. This is just the store where they sell materials and stuff. It was amazing that he had three big places like that, and he just started 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And having 10 locations across the United States, you're like, damn. I mean, these are the type of people that I need to be networking with, because I just started recently too, and I feel like I'm really on pace, like going faster than the normal. But when you see people like, or meet people like Heath, you're like, damn, I can kick into another gear and get into another level. And hanging out with people like that, you're like, you just want to listen to what they have to say. And I thought he had some insightful things to say, but unfortunately he was, under the weather. But it was very nice for him to host us. Did you get a chance to meet with him?
No, I didn't, but I did hear some of the stuff he said. I know a little bit about him from what people have said and stuff, and I think that's really, amazing. It's like you said, you learn from these people instead of hate on them. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And when you learn and stuff, and you kind of, whether they notice or not, something rubs off on you, and you take something out of it.
Yeah, like a tree produces good fruit. I mean, you can tell that he's a nice guy because everyone that works at his company were super nice.
Yeah.
Everyone I met was just like top of the line. I mean, from Caitlin to all the techs and everything that they were working, super polite, super helpful. Everyone had a smile on their face. Most of them are military veterans. Very impressive crew that works with him, and it's not just here in the Houston area. It's all over the country. But something he does is instilling this company culture. And speaking of company culture, Eric Turkelson, what do you think about Eric
I've
from Holodynamics?
He's great. I think he has a great personality. I think he can sing really good.
That national anthem rendition, Eric actually used to be in a rock band. He showed us pictures at dinner where he had the long hair and he was like in a band and everything.
Right.
And when I was listening to him sing, I was like, he's actually a really good singer.
Yeah, me too. I was like, I thought I was gonna be like, I gotta sing that anthem, like it's cool, But then when you started doing it, I was like, that sounds pretty good. Like, I mean, hey, like,
Yeah,
you did
I mean, I don't know if he's like a solo recording artist or anything, but for the show and for September 11th, I thought it was great.
Yeah.
But all in all, I think to recap the September 11th, having an event on September 11th and having an event on Monday, you don't really expect a lot of people want to show up. It's just not like a Memorial Day where you have a barbecue yet.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's kind of interesting. But I thought we paid homage. We recognize all the veterans. I think people learned a lot. And as far as the people that worked at Kingdom or worked for Kingdom, everyone thought you were like the best speaker. And when you were talking, man, you were just talking like real life stuff, like landscape lighting. A lot of people just make it so complicated, but it's not that hard. You just put the light there and it works. I mean, let's not make it more complicated than it has. I mean, for the people who didn't get a chance to hear it because there was like 85,000 fans and not fans, but like actual fans that blow air. It was hard to hear in that live video, but what did people miss when they were, who wasn't there?
Basically, like I said, some people can overcomplicate landscape lighting. Now, there is some things like beam spreads or whatnot, but for the most part, landscape lighting, as in, trees and palms and stuff, you can always move the light. So you can't mess that up, you know what I mean? And like I said, again, it's subjective. So, some guys will say that looks stupid, and the other guys say that looks great. Which person's advice you're going to take?
Sure.
So
The person who's paying you usually.
Yeah, exactly. If I've seen some crazy designs, but if they're happy and that's paying your bills, then that's where you run with it. I mean, who am I to tell somebody where they're wrong when they're being fed? So
True.
you can give them the advice. They take it. They don't take it. But like I said, I think that sometimes it's overcomplicated to keep things. They try to make it, explain too much to make it overly professional in a sense. But, to maybe get people to try to go to more courses or try to learn more. But, man, just do it and just put it in the ground and just play with it, and you'll figure it out. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. No, we thought you were the best speaker, the most interesting one for sure. And when you get up there, I don't know, just you feel comfortable, but the professional speaking to people and the making sure you don't say a cuss word and making sure you don't, offend someone. Your style is not like that. You just like right off the cuff, like this is exactly what I'm thinking. I'm going to tell you. I mean, you're not insulting or anything to people, but you give it to them raw and you give it to them real. And I think that a lot of people can appreciate that. I mean, obviously you're sponsored by Emory Allen, so obviously they can appreciate that this style that you have. But what do you think having that style? Doesn't it? You think it attracts like just a bigger audience of people that. I mean, you're like one of the only people I know that have that approach.
I don't know what it attracts. I think it's just transparent and as genuine as be. There is a certain level of professionalism, but at the same time, like I said, being a knucklehead, I grew up trying to pretend to be somebody else and try to act hard and do all this. And at this point, I realized I'm myself, and whoever doesn't like it, don't like it, and whoever likes it, likes it. And that way, I'm me 100% all the way. So if later on down the road, nobody can go back and say, "Hey, Mike, you were acting like this on that."
Yeah.
Like, no, I'm me.
Yeah, now that you got a little bit of money, now look at you all acting like this.
Nah, you have expectations on me. That, yeah, Mike's gonna be like this, and like that. But he's not gonna go off or anything. But I mean, I don't know. I just learned to be myself, and I spent a long time trying to find who I am. So
Right.
now that I'm comfortable with that, I just run with it.
So on your what's your Facebook group? Landscape Lighting Reps and Installers.
Yes.
Okay. So on your Facebook group, there's been a few times where you felt like you were rubbed the wrong way. I feel this all the time, but you felt like you're rubbed the wrong way, or you felt like someone had to be removed from the group, or just things like that happen. But a lot of people keep that behind the scenes, including myself. I mean, I really don't want to go too vocal and just spill my business out there because it's kind of embarrassing that I'm having a problem with somebody. But you actually, I think it's a lot more healthy than my approach. But you actually address it and say, "Look, I had to remove someone today. Here's the situation." Like, walk us through that process of how you let people know, kind of what's going on.
Well, the thing is a lot of these people that I removed are very respectable people in the industry, right? And so whenever they don't see them, I don't want people to think that it's any total that I'm just hating or whatever it is. But when it does come down to a business standpoint, when it does come down to the things that I'm trying to do, the ambitions that I'm trying to do, and if another group are specifically trying to destroy that, right? I'm not, I don't call them out by name or anything.
Sure.
But I'm going to let them know that, okay, they're removed because they are respectable people. They're still respectable.
Well, you don't just let them know; you let everyone know.
Yeah. So when they don't see them, they're not like, "Oh, what happened?" Like,
Yeah.
all right, I'm going to tell you what happened. I'm not going to hide that from you. I'm going to tell you what happened. This is and like I said, they're great companies, but between me and them, there's an issue now. Like I try to tell them, I don't think I'm king shit or whatever, but it is my page, and if
Yeah.
I'm trying to do things on my page and you're trying to prohibit that, then there's no reason to share it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not doing that to you. So, it just makes sense for anybody to not share a platform with somebody that tries to go behind you.
Well, I think I speak for everybody. I mean, everyone who started a group is because they were kicked out of another group.
Right.
Or, I have content, I have something to share. I want to have a group, but anytime I try to share something, they say no, they don't want me in the group. So I said, well, damn, I have to start my own group. That's the only reason we have a group.
Exactly.
And then once you start getting the group going and you have a few people in there, you start to feel like, man, I don't know if I went that. I mean, that person already kicked me out of their group, but I have them in my group. And then, a few things start to happen, and then you're like, now I see what it's like to actually manage the group, and sometimes it's not fun.
Yeah, and like I try to tell other people that I remember in the beginning, people were like, some people would give me the advice like, Mike, you can't be friends with everybody. And
Yeah.
and I was like, yeah, you can, but I was only an installer.
They're your
then.
competitor.
I
You
was,
cannot have them in your group.
right, and I was only an installer then, so of course I could get along with all manufacturers and all distributors and everything, and things were different. And whenever I try to up my level and stuff, I realized real quick, and I kind of see how the game plays, how the relationships play, how the politics play, and all this stuff into the game and stuff, and it really opened my eyes. And that's the type of stuff that I don't put their name out there, but I
Sure.
put it out that it is out there. And what sucks is why I try to explain to my followers, because I like being transparent, especially in my industry. And like I said, I'll recommend stuff that's not my brand, anybody's brand, and stuff like that. So I also let them know, I feel like they have the right to know what's going on in this industry. It's up to them to decide if they're getting played or not or whatever. But at the same time, I want them to know that, hey, there are people out there that will, say, be your friends with your kids, all this other stuff, and then you stop buying from them, they cut you out. So just be careful. I do it as a warning. Like, be careful who you spend your time with, especially personal time with. If you're gonna be about business, be about business. If you want to go beyond business, be my friend and be my friend, even if I'm not buying from you. I expect that. Now, that's not how the world works, but that's why I put it out there. Like, hey, I try to inform them on every aspect of it as an installer, a contractor, a business, whatever. Like, these are the games that are played. It's up to you to decide what you want to roll with.
Heck yeah, man. Well, I'll tell you what, that Holodynamics, I've never been sponsored by anyone. When I seen you were sponsored by Emery Allen, I'm like, damn, I want to be sponsored by someone. But I'm like, I guess I'm not doing enough, or I'm not, I don't know what it is. Because it's definitely not like, well, someone's going to direct you and tell you what to say or tell you what to do, because you made that clear. That's not you. You're not going to let someone tell you what to do and direct you. You're still going to be yourself, but you are sponsored. But I was wanting to be sponsored, and the very first company that's ever sponsored anything that we've done since we've started is Holodynamics, and they sponsored us, and for this event, and they donated that tree. I mean, that tree was badass.
Mm-hmm.
That tree, and then Heath Phelps actually won it, but I can't thank those guys enough, man. Eric Turkelson from Holodynamics and Scott Hazy, they really, I don't really want to get into all the details, but they've saved Christmas like the Grinch, saved Christmas. They really saved Christmas in many ways for Kingdom Christmas Lights, man. I'll never forget that. But it was nice having them there, and I really couldn't have done it without the help of Eric Turkelson, the Sunday and the Monday. And I know we had talked to him about how nice they are, but they're a great company, man. They're a great atmosphere and great company culture, very similar to Heath Phelps. But so Mike, listen with this. I know you're selling materials and stuff like that, but there's the big boys who are doing it, and then there's the smaller guys like that that's coming up. What do you think it'll take for you to actually cross over and become a big boy? Is it a distribution network? Is it like a angel investor that gives you a couple $1 million, or what do you think it's going to take?
Time and relationship building. That's
Not
it.
money,
Well, the relationship building that can become stems out of money, right?
right?
But I'll tell you one thing, back to real quick about the sponsors and Eric that helped you out.
Mhm.
Anybody that is sponsoring or looking out for you as an underdog, while they're taking the risk to look out for you, that's already a great relationship right there.
Mhm.
Now, I think to get above the other level, it's trial and error. You have to, I've done this 2 years now. You're gonna wing through a lot of fake people and real people, and then it's all about finding the right formula and being patient with it, and just keep going and just keep going, and eventually you're gonna find more people that are gonna be real, like the sponsors and
Yeah.
Eric to you, and you're gonna build that network.
Or they'll say, hey, you don't even know who that guy is. This guy's done some bad things. This guy's not the good person that you think he is. Let me paint him in a negative light and show you that he's not it's like, no, I already know who he is, and he's a great guy, and I still stand behind him.
Right.
That's a big leap. But when people start, cutting for you like that, it means a lot to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I know you can understand exactly what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's all it's gonna take. You just gotta build relationships and be patient with it, but and keep at it. And like I said, for me, I don't have a timeline. I mean, I don't look at, I would like, some companies like 3 years. I want to be at this budget, but for the way that I'm doing things, I just keep going, and somehow the universe.
We
puts
need
it
to get the
together.
Z-Flex t-shirts and apparel on Amazon for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just, let's just start
I
there.
want to make some cool graphics and stuff, so I want to do things a little bit outside the box that, that's kind of maybe urbanish, but,
Sure.
but so, I'm always trying to think out the box. So,
Yeah, like, or some, like, when you make those videos, if you can somehow make it where you have a process of how to do it, and then when people start their business, they can actually start using the same kind of creative advertisement that you do. I mean, you kind of put your brand on the Z Flex and the things that you do. Because I was looking, I showed Laura, you made that video today. If you haven't seen it, just type in Michael Zuzack and you'll see the video that he did. Today that was just of the event. But I told Laura, I was like, he made that on his phone in the hotel room. I mean, that thing looks like a professionally done video. He did it on his phone in the hotel room. Can you believe? We were watching on the way there. It's like, damn. Oh, and what'd you think about Craig? The guy that works for us.
Oh man, he's awesome. Man. You know what? He's that guy that always has a good joke.
I know.
I mean, a quick comeback and a great joke. I mean, I'm gonna take a couple of those home with me and throw them out there.
Yeah,
he's a great guy. He got great energy. Man, he's always smiling and stuff. Like I said, he always got a good joke, and he has a really good vibe, man. I really like him a lot.
Well, man, we appreciate your visit to Texas. It means a lot to us. I mean, we didn't pay Mike Zuzack to come here, but he came here just to pour out and to be a part of it. I appreciate that, man.
You paid me in steak, wine, and ATVs and all kinds of cool stuff, man. So you gave me the Texas,
hospitality.
Man.
Hell yeah, man. And I'm glad that you brought your son out here, man. It's nice to see dads that are hanging out with their sons and taking them around and showing them business at a young age, man. Just like you said, you like to see the young entrepreneurs. I like to see the dads who are taking their place in the family, especially with their sons. I mean, that means a lot, man. And hats off to you. Michael Zuzack, everybody, on Kingdom Radio. Definitely tune in to us on Kingdom Radio, but it's about Christmas season. It's about to be Kingdom Christmas lights, but I thank you, each and every one of you who were there. You watched online. You're trying to support us in any way. Your support means everything, so like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.